This video will show you how to replace the ignition control module on a Pontiac Grand Prix with a 3.8-liter engine. This will be located along the passenger side of your engine compartment. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. Along the passenger side of the engine, we're looking for our ignition coil packs. You can see 3 of them. Now, the ignition control module is actually underneath all of this, so we're going to do a little digging. We're going to remove each of the 3 ignition coil packs. The process will be the same for all. I'll show you how to remove this. After that, I'm just going to remove the other 2, and we'll continue on. As far as the replacement of this, you want to start with your ignition coil wires. Mark them in some way that you know exactly where they go during the installation process. As you can tell, somebody's already made some markings on these wires, so I don't have to. You can mark them any way you like, as long as you know exactly where they go in the end. As far as the ignition coil wires, just go ahead and give them a little twist to help break them free from the ignition coil, and we'll lift them up and out of position. Whenever you remove these wires, give them a close inspection. If you see any funny colors inside of here, it's corrosion, and that would need to be dealt with. This looks good, so I'm going to set it aside and I'll repeat the process for the next wire. That looks good as well. Now, looking along either side of the ignition coil, you're going to find a piece of hardware. Use a 1/4 inch to remove each of these bolts. A quick note about removal of these bolts: they may be stuck in place. Be careful not to break them off. There's our first mounting bolt. Let's go ahead and remove the next. Keep in mind, this is the last thing holding this in place. Just a quick inspection of this ignition coil. I'm going to set it aside, and as I mentioned, I'm going to repeat the process for all others. This bolt is almost out. Now, this last bolt right here is holding the ignition coil and the ignition control module in place. Should be able to lift up on that ignition coil. Remove that bolt. Now we can take hold of the module. We'll lift it up. We can see our wire connector. We're going to have to remove this bolt. As you can tell, my piece of hardware is a little rusted here. I'm using a 7mm on my application. Let's take hold of this. We'll pull it out and away. A thorough inspection of that electrical connector. That looks good. And there it is, friend. Prior to installation of any brand new part, let's clean and inspect our mounting area. I'm going to use a wire brush. Okay, let's get ready to install the brand new ignition control module. Obviously, we want to have it in the proper orientation. We need to have the large port for our electrical connector facing towards the front of the vehicle. Let's get that electrical connector in place. Line it up, press it in, and then we're going to tighten our mounting bolts, holding this connector in. Right there is bottomed out. Just take it a tiny bit further. We do not want to cause any damage, but you do need to make sure that this is secure. It does not move. Let's get this in place along the base. Now, as we bring this down, it should want to settle into the proper positioning, but there's no real hardware holding this down until we start installing our ignition coils. So let's do that now. Now we'll use some dielectric lubricant on each one of our electrical terminal ends leading towards the ignition coils. You don't need very much, This is just going to help keep moisture out of the area. Now it's time for installation of our ignition coils. As I mentioned during the removal process, each ignition coil goes back in the same original position as where you had removed it from. Looking along the bottom of the ignition coil, you can see exactly where those terminal ends will slide into. Let's line it up, press it straight down. Now it's time for each of our 2 ignition coil mounting bolts. We'll apply some anti-seize. We'll start them in by hand, snug them up. The torque for these is 40 inch-pounds. There's the second one. We'll take hold of that, make sure it does not move around in any way. Continue on to your spark plug wires. During the removal process, I had mentioned that those need to be marked and those need to go in the same original positioning as well. Just a tiny bit of dielectric lubricant along each one of these terminal ends. As far as the spark plug wires, once they're in the proper position, line them up, press them down, listen for a click, make sure it's secured. It's okay if it twists, but it should not easily lift up and out of place. These are bottomed out, torqued, and torqued. A little bit of dielectric lubricant. We have our spark plug wires. Double check each and every one of the wires to confirm they're properly secured in place. Okay friend, we finished the installation of our ignition control module. If you had a check engine light, reset it. After that, start the vehicle, let it run. Make sure you have no misfire, no check engine light, close the hood, and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.